Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, we say thank you. Thank you for your goodness and mercies upon each one of us, dear Lord. As we start this session, dear Lord, how you pray, you're going to give us the understanding, dear Lord, as you even anoint the speaker of the day. My Father, dear Lord, that you may be glorified. How I commit all of us before you, even if I will be presented, dear Father, how you pray, God, you're going to help us achieve the goal that we have in this ministry. In the name of Jesus Christ, we can breathe.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay. I think Reverend Kahindi will come later on as we continue. So I'll just wish to kick on. And I will start by probably passing some message. Last time I had mentioned that we're going to have our graduation on 28th, but because of a few logistics here and there, we are also planning to have some speakers with us. So because of such kind of arrangements, we had to reschedule. So our graduation will be on 21st of November. 21st of November, we'll combine a Global Leadership Network Summit with the graduation for Cohort 4 and Cohort 5. We are expecting to have some speakers. One of them is Reverend Oscar Amisi from Deliverance Church, Umoja. He's a seasoned speaker on issues of leadership. We also are expecting to have Coletta Masharia. She's a certified leadership trainer and a coach. And we're still doing a few other logistics here and there. So it will be a learning session as well as your graduation. So please note that date. We'll continue sharing more details as we continue. Okay, so we will keep on interacting. Feel free to interact through the chat. But for now, we'll just move on to lesson 13. That lesson 12, we discussed about the power of purpose in leadership. And today we are looking at the power of character in leadership. This is also a very core lesson. That's why it's under the level 3 core leadership competencies, because it's a pillar. It's a pillar. And therefore, I'm sure we're going to learn quite a lot. And we'll also be reflecting on our own lives and our own leadership styles as we continue through this. But just to whet your appetite, on Mashujaa Day, we had a time out with Cohort 3. We took some time out just to reflect and also team build. This is something that we are also planning for Cohort 5 and Cohort 4 early next year. So we'll communicate when we can go out, and because ideally we should combine this training with team building activities. But because of the mode of training, we are not able to engage on team building issues. So for Cohort 3, we spend a whole day out there, doing team building activities, just interacting with the entire team, and still learning. It was a learning experience. So we are planning for this. We are planning for you. And as we move on, we'll be able to give you more information. You can see Reverend Beth there with her team, serious at work. They had a challenge they had a challenge in which they had to manage on how to build whatever they were supposed to work around. And it was also a time just to sit around and just have probably a meal together, chat together, just have an experience there, and just to be refreshed, and also have an offsite discussion with other leaders. Yeah, so this is it. This is how we spend our Mashujaa Day, and we thank God. That is, yeah. So This will come for you also, and I will share information in good time so that we can also go out and have fun together as we continue to learn. Great. Now, the power of character in leadership. When you look at this picture, what comes to your mind? What one, maybe in terms of leadership or in terms of character, one word that comes to your mind when you look at this picture? Just one word. You can share on the chat what comes to your mind, either in terms of character or in terms of leadership. What strikes your mind? Okay, so just share. We'll sample a few. Great. And it says sacrifice. Reverend Kahindi, I'll share what it comes to your mind. George talks of an icon. Yeah, so we have sacrifice, an icon. Let me pick one more. What comes to your mind when you look at that picture? One more. So we have sacrifice as a leader, an icon in terms of leadership. So one more, share one more. Just one more, and then we continue. What comes to your mind? You look at that picture. So I'm waiting for that one person. Yeah, Milka talks about role model. So the rest of you just keep on sharing. We'll come back to that. Yeah, this is a statue. And one thing you can predict, this statue will never change. Either when it's raining or it's sunny, it's cloudy, it will always be the same. And that is what we are going to anchor this lesson of character on. It's about being predictable. It's about being static. It's about being the same person in private, in public, wherever we are, we can predict how that leader will be or how that leader will behave. So as we continue, that statue will be our reference. It will be our reference. Yeah, but Dr. Tim Elmo, who is an author of leadership content, he came up with an iceberg model to represent character. And in his book, he talks about 10% above the water is leadership skills, looking at that iceberg. So the skills are 10%, but the 90% below the water is a leader's character. It's a leader's character. And that shows the weight when we are talking about issues of character. They're weighty, and they can sink the whole boat. They can sink they can sink a whole leader, in a simpler word. Yeah, so your skills may get you to the top, but it is your character that will keep you up there. And as leaders, that is very important. As we become more competent, as we become more vast, as we become more experienced, I think the only part that we don't get enough experience is to make sure that the character is firmly grounded. Yeah, so this is a model that I want you just to keep on remembering and focusing on, that as much as we are growing, it's about what is down there. As we become better in skills, we also continue to ensure that the lion's share of the boat is also well grounded. So personal character significantly impacts on a leader's image. The image is purely a result of the character. So besides all these other issues we have talked about, the skills and the knowledge, what really gives weight or what is the backbone of leadership is character. And character is a firm foundation on which we must build respect, Just as no worthy building can be erected on a weak foundation, so no long-lasting reputation worthy of respect can be built on a weak character. Our foundation, that iceberg, the foundation and the foundation of any structure is hinged on how solid down there that structure is. The same concept when it comes to us as leaders. So no man can climb beyond the limitation of his own character. That is John Molle. Yeah, and in the last analysis, what we are communicates far more eloquently than anything we say or do. So that lifestyle is our perfect mode of communication. That character is our perfect mode of communication. And that is why you find some leaders, they struggle to communicate because as they speak, lifestyle speaks something else, speaks something different. So it doesn't matter how eloquent someone is or a leader is, as much as there is that inconsistency. So whatever we say, there will be boos, there will be, people will be interpreting and reading from the life that we have demonstrated. So good character is more to be praised than outstanding talent, and most talents are to some extent a gift. But good character, by contrast, is not given. It's not a gift. We have to build it piece by piece, by thought, by choice, courage, and by determination. By all means, this is something that we have to be intentional on. And I think that is why we felt that is a topic that we need to discuss about, and so that we embrace it in terms of how do we build it piece by piece? How do we give it more weight if we had not given it the weight that it deserves? So the respect that leadership must have requires that one's ethics be without question. A leader not only stays above the line between right and wrong, he stays well clear of the gray areas. Yeah, that is Alan Bernard, the president of Midpark Company. And in Proverbs 22:1, it talks about a good reputation is more desirable than great wealth, and favorable acceptance more than silver and gold. Yeah, so we're just trying to lay the foundation just to appreciate the significance and the weighty, the weight this topic of character has, so that as we get into understanding some definitions and other aspects, we really place it where it should be, where we ought to place it. So having talked about that, then what is character? What is character? What is character? We can check on page 91, if you have your manual with you, page 91. Page 91, what is character? So there is an introduction there. Character and integrity are the most valuable assets of a leader. They engage a trust, show commitment, and prove ability. They show who you truly are, besides what you can do. Yeah, so character is having the inner strength, where that is the inner strength is the gap. Is the gap. So character one is having the inner strength. It's not about the outward strength or the outward appearance, but is having the inner strength to be truthful, trustworthy, and acting justly and honorably, and being consistent in words and action. That is just a basic definition of character. That the inner strength, the key word here is inner strength. The inner strength, the inner, we can talk about that inner consciousness, yeah, to be truthful, trustworthy, and acting justly and honorably, and the consistency between what we say and what we do. Character, as we look at from the example that I showed, from the picture that I showed, a leader of character is fixed and predictable in every circumstance. So there is no shifting based on circumstance, especially when we are talking about character. Is like a Nelson Mandela, being in jail but still standing for what you stood for. So besides people, beside the masses, even in that small room, he could be able to stand for what he believed. Yeah, so that's what we talk about, being fixed and being predictable. So a leader of character is unchanging in values and principles, and also convictions and beliefs. What you believe in, you continue to stand with it, besides the circumstance or the situations that surrounds you. So character number 4 is a commitment to a set of values, standards, and principles without compromise or wavering. Remember the example that I've shared about Nelson Mandela. Values, what you stand for, and many other leaders that stood for something or stood for their values, their standard, their principles, besides whatever promises or whatever threats that they encountered, they still stood with what they believed in. Yeah, so that values and standards are very, very important. So a leader's philosophy, what we know, informs a leader's belief system. And the belief systems will produce our values, and values will produce morals. But morals will inform ethics, and ethics produce character. And character becomes a lifestyle. So the lifestyle that we live is our character. And that is why I mentioned that it's built piece by piece, and it's a manifestation of how we believe on the inside that is manifested on the outside. In page 90, as I take you back, there's an introduction there that talks about thoughts, attitudes, and trying to link all this together. Talks about what your thoughts, what you think, they lead to your attitudes. What your attitudes, because it leads to words, and what your words, it leads to actions. The action will lead to habits. Then habits will inform our character, and our character determines the destiny, determines the lifestyle. So a person who values the privileges above principles will soon lose both of them. Yeah, even where there are privileges, what really stands out, or what should inform us how we stand out, is the principles that we believe in. Okay, so the leadership character comprises of a few aspects. One of them is self-discipline. So when you're talking about character, the issues of self-discipline are very key. And what is self-discipline? The ability to be consistent, predictable, be fixed in issues of character. The ability to be consistent and do what is right and just, regardless of emotions, popular opinion, or feelings. That is one component of character. 2 is core values, the principles you live by, that enables you to take a moral standard. You see companies displaying these core values. This is what we believe. Yeah, so the principles you live by that enables you to take a moral stand. That is another component of character. A sense of identity, that realistic self-image. There are no different faces. There are no different masks. Yeah. Today we don't see this identity, and tomorrow we see another identity, but we're able to manifest a consistent identity or a realistic self-image based on our mix in terms of our gifting, our strength, and our personality. And then finally is the other component of character is emotional security, the capacity to be emotionally stable and consistent. So these are just a few components that constitute character. So why character matters? I think I mentioned briefly about this, but let me just reinforce the points here. Character and integrity are the most valuable assets of a leader. This is what can sink a leader or can keep the leader afloat. And character engages or creates trust. Yeah. A person of character attracts trust. People can trust you. People can be with you. People can walk with you. They can share their life with you. And also shows commitment, and it proves ability. It shows who a leader truly is beside what a leader says or a leader does. Yeah. So why character matters? Character shapes a leader's life. It's a lifestyle, as I've said, and without character, every other aspect of leadership is at risk. And character establishes and strengthens a leader's inner life. It's the inner life, it's the private lifestyle. There's a private lifestyle that constitutes the character. So character ensures private victory. Private victory, that is character ethics, above public victory, that is personal ethics. So there is what we call private victory. This is a feeling. This is what is in us. Private victory. It's like private success. There's also what we call private success. That still small voice that tells you if you have been successful or not. From the outside, people might read success, but from the inside, an individual may read otherwise. So character is also very private, and it communicates, or it reinforces that private victory in us. So character ensures private victory above public victory. So what people see has to be in sync with what you feel. That is where you're able to really know if you are a successful leader or you are a leader of character or not. It's so private. Character protects a leader's life, vision, legacy, and also it reinforces impact. I attended one time a workshop, and Dr. Yongcho was speaking in that workshop. And he didn't speak for a long time. He just spoke for about 10 minutes. But those 10 minutes were very heavy. The message was very heavy, because I realized he didn't need to say much because of his lifestyle. His lifestyle was speaking a lot. This is a man who has transformed a country. He has transformed the world. And he's a man that has stood out in terms of how he has offered leadership. And one thing that really struck my mind, I realized that at some point in life, what will add weight to what we say is the life that we have lived, is the sacrifices that we have showed out there, is the transformation that we have brought in the lives of people. He spoke for less than 10 minutes, but for the entire 5 days, that message was very fresh. Yeah, there are speakers that spoke for 1 hour and others for 30 minutes, but this speaker that spoke for 10 minutes, the message was very weighty. So that is how character compounds and adds weight to our life as a leader. So why character matters? It confirms a leader's words, deeds, and actions, and also safeguards the well-being of those under the authority and influence of a leader. Because if a leader loses on issues of character, then even those who are under a leader's authority are also threatened. They're also threatened. So a leader of character will safeguard the well-being of those under his or her authority or influence. And also it inhibits, it protects or prevents a leader from hurting those around him. Yeah, we influence. Leadership is all about influence. And therefore, whatever lifestyle we adopt, it becomes a channel of influence. And therefore, with strong character, in the same way that we're able to influence people to take the same path. So character will inhibit a leader from hurting those around him. It influences the morality of followers and also preserves the longevity of leadership. And basically, we are talking about leadership is wholeheartedly about how we grow, that is personal development, in character, in the attitude, that is the mindset, and also in strength in terms of skills and the resulting impact that we are able to make as leaders on followers, and how well we are able to reproduce more leaders in our lifestyle. Yeah, so there are a few leadership principles on character. Leadership principles on character. That is on page 93. Page 93. Leadership principles on character. Are we there? Are we there?
Yes, we are.
Yes, yeah. Yes, Chairman.
Okay, page 93. So please feel free to share any comments that you have as we continue. Your takeaway, what is your takeaway from this lesson? Feel free to share on the chat so that we'll go through as we take a break after this lesson. So some principles, leadership principles on character. The first one, character is the foundation of true success in leadership. Character is the foundation of true success in leadership. So if I'm rating or measuring my success in leadership, then character will be one of the key criteria that I will look at. Number two, character protects a leader's potential, charisma, gift, and talent. These are important. They can lift us up. They can bring us to the limelight. But what will keep us protected or grounded is character, as we have mentioned. And it also qualifies a leader's consistency and predictability. Consistency and predictability. This is important, as I said from the beginning. Can people predict how I can behave in different circumstances? Can people predict if I am in a foreign country? Can people be sure that guy or that leader, I am sure wherever he is now, I can still give a testimony of the kind of a leader that he is out there. So that predictability and consistency is key. So the other principle, leadership principle on character, character gives weight to a leader's communication. I've already mentioned that. And also it attracts trust and loyalty. Trust is attracted. Loyalty is also can also be attracted by the lifestyle, and that's one of the key quality of a good lifestyle is the issue of character. It character self-imposes discipline and also conviction, and it also integrates words, deeds, and action, reinforces strategy. Given strategy and character, a leader of strategy and a leader of character, a leader of character is a strategy in him or herself. Yeah, and also character is tested in privacy. Character will always be tested in privacy, but displayed in public. Yeah, character amplifies power, and character protects a leader's vision. Yeah, remember the story of Joseph. It is in private that he was tested, and so many other cases. That is what normally happens. It's tested in privacy, and it is manifested in the public. So, as leaders, just having gone through this topic, I know I've been a bit faster, but having gone through this topic, this lesson, as leaders, how do we build a strong character? As leaders, how do we build a strong character? Because we have realized that character is very important. Then how do we build a strong character? And maybe we can take a few comments here. Either you can share on the chat, or if you want to voice it out, you can just unmute and share how your views your view on this topic. How do we build a strong character? So let's share, and I will just want to welcome Reverend Kahindi to say hi as he checks on those comments that are shared on the chat, or even those who want to share verbally out. We'll just spend 3 minutes and then we'll get back and continue to the next lesson. Welcome, Reverend Kahindi.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Good evening, leaders. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me? Just say yes.
Yes,
sir.
Great.
Yes.
Great. Today I was so eager to see you. Imagine I was logged in by 7:20 and I had to wait for an hour. Character. On the comments, I see Paul Mucheke says, wow, a nice illustration. I think this is about the statue of our first president, that statue which does not change. Whether it rains, whether it is sunny, it's hot, it's cold, character. That's the way you should be as a leader. Whether it's night, dark, or it's bright, daytime, character. Rebecca says, character will keep you up there. You lose it, everything is lost. So guard it well. In other words, you can build up something for many years, but when you falter on character and overnight, it all goes. So character is that important. George writes and says, we build a strong character by being consistent. So character is built, and as you build character, it attracts with it trusts, and then you'll find you get loyalty coming by character. So in essence, if you are looking for some good influence, like I think I'm getting this and I would be putting that one on my comment. Build on your character and you'll find influence comes by. Now, for those of you who have not written on the wall, you want to say it, voice it out. Milka, you go first. Milka Mbinya. Milka, as you unmute, Evanson has just said, you build your character by being focused on your goal. Also, faith. Have faith and focus on your goal and build your character. Thank you very much, Evanson. Milka, over to you.
Yeah. Character is everything. Without character, one can fail.
Thank you very much, Milka. You know, as chairman was unpacking this one, I was reflecting on myself and I'm wondering, you know, I sit as a branch manager in a bank and there is this character they see. And then I sit as a reverend in the church and there's this character they see. I sit as a father and a husband in the house and there's this character they see. If the three are not reconciled, then there is a problem. There is a problem. You know, you go to church and preach so nicely, and then you come home and your son asks you, was that somebody else or was it you, Dad? Because what you are here is different from what you are there. And you find if you do like that, even your own child cannot attend that church. But if you build a character that is stable, consistent, you'll find it doesn't matter where. They know this person stands for this. This is who he is. And then now they choose to follow that because they see your consistency. Thank you very much. I think our 3 minutes are almost there. If we are not yet, we are saving on time. So over to you, Chairman.
Thank you, Reverend Kahindi, and thank you, participants, for your contribution. And says, I think a good beginning to building good character is to watch your thoughts. Let me refer you to one of the great stories in the Bible, and that is the story of Job. The story of Job. If you read Job 1:1, the Bible talks about there once was a man in the land of Uz named Job. The man was blameless as well as upright. He feared God and kept away from evil. That gives us how this man was able to attract God and attract the presence of God and even the testimony of God. So the few issues there, the man was blameless, he was upright, he feared God, and he kept away from evil. That's one of the lessons that we can pick on how to build a strong character. Another testimony is also given, second Job 2, verse 3. The Lord asked Satan, have you considered my servant Job? There is no one like him on earth. The man is blameless, as well as upright. He fears God and keeps away from evil. He remains firm in his integrity, even though you have been urging me to overwhelm him without cause. Yeah, without cause. So that scripture, I think, gives us some insight. And I think I'll just share a few points just to reinforce what you have mentioned about character. How do we build a strong character? We've looked at Job 1 and Job 2, a man who was blameless, a man who was upright, a man who feared God, and also a man who kept away from evil. Those are some of the ways to build a strong character. In addition, by being authentic, I think being that self, not having different version of myself, so that I don't struggle to maintain different faces. I'm able to maintain, this is Joseph, and he's always like this. So I don't behave differently in different occasions, and I don't fear that I'll display another face, because the face that people see is the same. And I think this is what Reverend Kahindu was talking about, being consistent and being authentic. Also, cost-benefit analysis. Yeah, there are times we have to do a cost-benefit analysis. It's like Joseph, should I not? What are the benefits? What is the cost? What will it cost me in terms of my vision if I give in on issues of character? Yeah, so remember the iceberg. Yeah, the whole ship can sink. So that is a cost-benefit analysis that before, as temptations comes to us as leaders, we look at this. What are the cost-benefit analysis? And also committing to values and principles. What are my values and what are my principles? Honesty and courage, and also being intentional in your growth. Being intentional in your growth. We have mentioned that we build this, we build character piece by piece. Yeah, people fall when they think they are beyond, they are above. Yeah, the moment I think I'm above a certain level, or I'm above failure, that is when we get into the temptation of failing. But the moment I know that I have to be intentional in guarding myself, I have been intentional in growing the private, the inner man in me, then strengthening that inner man, that is what safeguards us. So these are just a few examples on how we can build a strong character, also combining with what I've shared from the book of Job. Yeah, so that brings us to the end of lesson 13. And I trust that we've been able to pick a few lessons here and there. I'm sure looking at your comments, there's quite a lot that we have been able to pick. And I think Annie added something. So watch what you are listening to, watching, or exposed to, because it dictates your thoughts. Yeah, we talked about the inner strength, and that is now where the issues of our thoughts are critical. Okay, I just want to proceed to lesson 14. Just want to proceed to lesson 14 so that we can catch up now where we're supposed to be today. And lesson 14, we are talking about the power of mentorship and succession in leadership. This is also very important. It's a core leadership competency. The power of mentorship and succession in leadership. Very important topic. And in our current systems is an area that really requires a lot of attention, because we only win by passing the baton. We win by passing the baton. And over 2,000 years ago, the baton has kept on being passed over from one generation to another. Jesus passed it to the disciples. The disciples continued. They ran and they passed it on. This is the same thing that is happening to us now. Wherever we are leading, it's all about our season of running, and then we cautiously, strategically, and timely pass it over to the other generation. So leadership is not a sprint, it is a marathon relay. You remember yesterday during the BBI, President Uhuru mentioned this, although it was on a lighter note, when he was referring to Ruto, and he talked about a relay race. And he told the deputy president that he's not supposed to be running the other side, so that he needs to walk along the track. Yeah, we don't run away from the runner who is holding the baton. That was on a lighter note, but it's about a relay marathon. So we run to pass, we lead to pass. So the most important part is not just running, but how well are we able to pass the baton? These are words of Miles Monroe, and I think these are very heavy words that we need to keep on reflecting and also communicating to the people. I always tell leaders, you start planning for your succession the first day you get into the position of leadership. If you have been appointed to a position of leadership, then that is the first day. That is the right moment to start thinking about your successor, so that you are intentional and you also being able to prepare yourself in terms of maybe the next level, or even in terms of what new or what other ventures can you be able to undertake, and you're also able to invest in people. The African proverb talks about, if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together with the people. We win by passing the baton. Warren Buffett has written a lot about leadership also. And he said that someone is sitting in the shadow today because, in the shade today, because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Yeah, so probably others may not need to plant a tree because we have already planted a tree today. They may do more. They may do more. Yeah, so when it comes to the relay race, people don't have to run your course. They run their own course. So if you already gone, if you are the first runner, the second runner will just go the second round. And that is the mentorship, that is the mindset of leaders who are conscious on succession. Yeah, people sometimes don't have to go through the challenges you went through because you have already learned a few lessons. They will encounter their own challenges at their own level. So you're able to build people and lift people to another level. I've seen good fathers, even maybe when we're looking at the church setup, positioning their son to start on another level, a much maybe higher level than where they started, because they are conscious that for sure, as a father, I want my son to start from another level. So where we are today, there are people who invested to be there. It's our duty also to plant a tree today so that tomorrow other people can sit under that shade. And that is what we call for when you're talking about mentoring. And Nelson Mandela said, what counts in life is not the mere fact that we lived, it is the difference that we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of our life. That difference, that hand that we are able to hold and nurture and mentor, that is what will count at the end of it all. I normally call that dynamic legacy, investing in people because they are dynamic. They are dynamic. When Jesus invested in the 12, he invested on a dynamic legacy. And it has continued to grow, to compound. It has been passed down. It has been passed down generation after generation. There is nothing good than investing in people, because that is, people are dynamic. They are living things, if I can call it that way. It's not like structures. They are static and they depreciate. They are good, but when it comes to dynamic legacy, people are far much better placed to invest in because of their nature of being dynamic. So mentorship is very core when you're talking about leadership. And every great achiever, the great achievers, they are inspired by great leaders. And great leaders are great mentors. Great leaders are great mentors. Yeah, and look around any great leader, you will see the sons, the daughters, and the children that he has been able to raise. And that is what they become great, because of the mentorship, the value they have placed in investing in people. And that calls for unselfish thinking. That is the kind of leaders who are unselfish. They are able to invest in leaders or invest in others, giving yourself to other people for their personal development or well-being. Yeah. And we are able to rise by lifting others. According to Robert, you rise up by lifting others. The famous speaker, the famous leadership guru, John Maxwell, talks about, if you spend your energy holding people down, then you will never get the energy to rise up. So it's not about holding people, it's about lifting people up. And as we lift people up, the lead is able to go up, the lead of the organization is able to go up, and even your own lead in terms of leadership, you're able to rise up and offer better leadership. There is a paradigm, a relationship paradigms that talks about how we interact or how people relate in terms of relationship, or in terms of maybe how we win or how we lose as a team. And in the first case, we talk about I win, you lose, then I win only once. If I win and you lose, then I will only win once. If you win and I lose, you will only win once. If we both lose, then it's over. The partnership is gone. But if we both win, we win many times. And this is how long-term relationships are built. So the best relationship are win-win. And this is the mindset of mentorship. We can run the relay race, and at the end of the fourth runner, all of us are winners. So it's a win-win scenario. And no one runner wants the other runner to run slower than themselves. If you pass the baton, you always want that runner to run even faster than you ran, so that your team can win. That is the mindset of leaders that are driven by mentorship and succession. I pass to you, you run faster, you run better, you do better projects, you perform much better, so that at the end of it, all of us will be win. It's a win-win scenario. We both win. I'm not passing it so that you can lose and I can get the glory. There's no glory there. If I pass it and you lose, we have all lost. Yeah, so unselfish thinkers, they want others to be able to win first. Yeah, and that makes all the difference. So who is a mentor? Just looking at a few definitions here and there. Who is a mentor? A mentor is someone who builds trust. People will only come to you if there is an element of trust, that takes us back to the character topic. He's an active and deep listener. You're able to listen to people. People really want, people look out for listeners, because listening is a skill also. Person who is able to, is understanding, encourages, inspires hope, is reliable, and is also authentic. I can share all my experiences. Yeah. A mentor is one who sees ahead of what others can see, inspires and coaches others to navigate a course of discovering, developing, and releasing their potential. A mentor is a secure leader. Only secure leaders mentor. Yeah, so a mentor is a secure leader who thrives in growing other leaders. Secure leaders have no problem mentoring. They want to mentor great leaders than themselves. I listened to a story that Miles Monroe was sharing, and his mentor, who was Oral Robert, when he was writing his first book, when Miles was writing his first book, and he took that book for endorsement by Oral Robert. Oral Robert was very happy, and he shared some comments. He told him, I want my sons to do greater things than I have done. And he endorsed that book, and that book was able to sell. That book, that is how people like Miles Monroe became world movers in terms of writing and speaking, because there was someone beside them who wanted them to do more than they had achieved. So a secure leader will want people to thrive. He'll want to grow leaders. And I think that is the essence of global leadership, is that we want to be so secure in ourselves that we shall mentor without reservation. So a mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself. That is Oprah Winfrey. You can be able to see the hope in the people and help them to believe that they can be able to achieve or be and maximize the potential that is in them. A mentor is someone who sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourself and helps you to bring it out. Great leaders will always see something in people and challenge them. Yeah, and challenge them to rise up, to raise the game, because I can see where you are, and because most of the leaders maybe will be ahead of the people that we are mentoring. So we can be able to see more. We can be able to see how much they can stretch and how much they can be able to offer and become. So the greatest good you can do for another is not just to share your riches, but to reveal to them their own riches. Yeah, to reveal to them their riches. This is a true reflection of what mentors do. Mentors will reveal to people their own riches, their own strength, their own abilities. They will be able to point out and help the people become the best that they can be in whatever area they are pursuing. So a leader takes people where they want, a leader takes people, or a good leader takes people where they want to go. But a great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go, but ought to be there. Yeah, so that is the scenario when it comes to mentorship. We always want to stretch people. You're telling them, here, this is where you are, but I'm sure you can be able to stretch to this other level. So a mentor empowers a person to see possible future and believe that they can be able to attain that future. So who is a mentor? We're looking at a mentor as a person who builds trust, is a good listener, person who is able to encourage and motivate, is a person who is reliable, also is a person that you want, is fun to be around, is fun to be around, is full of energy. When you are around a mentor, you will always feel attracted to be always close to them, because they will not leave you the same. They will leave you inspired. They will leave you with a sense of passion, a sense of inspiration. We'll always want to walk close to such kind of leaders or such kind of mentors. So why mentor? Why do we mentor? Why do we need to mentor? Professor Wangari Maathai talked about teamwork. And she said that it is teamwork. No one can be able to do it alone. Yeah, I'm very conscious of the fact that you cannot do it alone. It's teamwork. When you do it alone, you run the risk that when you are no longer there, nobody else will do it. Nobody else will do it. So it's about teamwork, and that tells us that we should invest in mentorship. 2, secure and preserve the future. How do I secure and preserve the future? How did Moses secure and preserve the achievement that he had managed to achieve to where they had reached? It is through mentorship, because someone was there to make sure that the children of Israel do not go back where they started, but they move on and progress on with the journey. So you secure and preserve the future through mentorship. So the greatest act of leadership is what happens in your absence. Moses is gone, he's absent. So in his absence, what happens? A Joshua can be able to come in and take over and complete the journey or pass the baton to the next person. So as a leader, if everything you have achieved dies with you, you are a failure. Success without a successor is failure. Those are words of Dr. Miles Monroe. So we mentor to secure next generation. The sure way to secure the next generation is to make sure that we are investing in mentorship. Mentorship is our gift to the next generation. Why mentor? To protect and sustain leadership, achievement, and impact. Yeah. So we protect and sustain leadership, achievement, and impact through mentorship. Yeah. So the sure way to safeguard and sustain our leadership achievement is to ensure that we are able to mentor. Number 5 is the path to true legacy. Yeah. So true legacy is hinged on how well we are able to invest on mentorship. So mentorship is the overall measure of success in leadership. We succeed in leadership when we mentor. And the most important part of leading is not just leading, the most important part of leadership, as we have mentioned, is not just leading, but being able to keep on passing the baton. Then how do we mentor? This is the final part in this lesson. How do we mentor? Very important. Mentorship must be intentional. Must be intentional. It's done on purpose. So I have to intentionally know that I've engaged in this role of mentorship, and therefore I need to work around it on purpose, and I need to prepare in terms of how well do I engage in mentorship. Number 2, mentorship requires matchmaking. It's important to be able to match your interest, passion, knowledge, skills, and experience. And in many cases, probably if someone approaches you, there is some similarity. So matchmaking, very important. Number 3, mentorship will only thrive in a mentorship culture, a mentorship mindset, and environment. So a mentor and mentee should endeavor to cultivate that mentorship culture and environment. And some of the attributes that contributes to that kind of environment is what we are talking about, being intentional. Yeah, is being intentional, being authentic. And number 4, mentorship requires authenticity. Authenticity. Mentorship requires authenticity. Both success and failures should be embraced as channels of learning. So to inspire people, share your success story, but to impact people, take them behind the scenes to the struggles and sometimes even the failures. So the valuable lessons that can be derived from both success and failure must be appreciated and incorporated in our mentorship journey. So authenticity is very important. And then number 5, mentorship is futuristic. We are building a future. And this is important because it takes time, and therefore a lot of patience is required. So habits will always take time to develop. And the mentor and mentee should value today, but visualize tomorrow. They should take the advantage of the moment, but be motivated by the desired future. We are looking at the future to come. So it's futuristic, and also mentorship is a process. Yeah, it's like a farm-based system. We have to take the steps one by one. Mentorship requires a methodology. You need to think about what methodology do I apply? And this is why I mentioned that mentorship is intentional. So if it is intentional, then I can invest on it. I can look out there. What are the methodology? Yeah, so develop methods and system to help in mentor matching, communications alert, tools to manage and track the progress of mentorship, including creating probably a mentorship agreement, a learning plan, progress monitoring, and also a feedback tool for both the mentor and the mentee. If I'm mentoring, how effective am I? For the mentee, you're also able to measure, are we progressing? Are we learning? Is the mentor becoming better? So that is important. And then mentorship is achieved outside of our comfort zone. It will cost us. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. Patience is key, perseverance, consistency, and also focus is very key during the mentorship process. Number 9, mentorship requires open-mindedness. It's a learning process for both. It's a learning curve for both parties. Both the mentee and the mentor, they are in a learning curve. So open-mindedness for both to learn, and the process ignites two-way learning and a lot of adjustment in terms of priorities and development of new habits. Number 10, mentorship should be fun. I think as I've mentioned that, be creative in terms of how you undertake the mentorship. And we are not talking about both for the leaders and even going as low as probably in our house, in our homes, that creativity on how we undertake the mentorship. There are times when I want to communicate a message probably to my children in a mentorship style, we can go out and jog, but you have the key, you know when to communicate what. Yeah, so the jogging or the exercising is just a tool of making sure that the mentorship environment is fun. So I think a lot of creativity, how do we embrace creativity? And also pause to celebrate every little success in the process of mentorship. So I think fun, it's something that is open, but which we need to explore. It talks about maybe the places, talks about the modes of communication, the modes of engagement. We need to think and look around, how do we make sure that the environment is conducive, and it's also, there's some element of fun when we are undertaking mentorship. Number 11, mentorship demands consistent personal development. Both of you, we need to keep on growing so that you can be able to keep on having something to give. You can only give what you have. So the more we learn on mentorship, the more we're able to give better mentorship a lesson, and also have more impact to the people that we are mentoring. Finally, I want to close by saying, as purpose-centered and vision-driven global leaders, that is who we are. We are leading for a purpose. We are leading through a vision. We are driven by a vision. And as we look on these issues of mentorship, yeah, as global leaders, we should focus on nurturing successors. We should focus on being intentional on mentorship. Yeah, so our greatest contribution to the future generation is our successor. Because success without a successor is failed leadership. So as global leaders, this is our commitment, that we will focus on nurturing successors. Today, if I don't report where I'm working, can there be someone who can be able to run the rest? If I am a pastor and I'm not able to report in that church, can someone take the mic and move on? Wherever I am, whatever capacity I'm leading, is there a successor who can be able to run with what I am running today. So we should be very intentional and also focus on nurturing successors and also engaging on mentorship. Number two, we as purpose-driven leaders, as purpose-centered and vision-driven global leaders, we can only safeguard and solidify our leadership through a mentorship arrangement. And then finally, as global leaders, we lead and influence through inspiration, through empowerment, and through mentorship. And therefore, I believe that this lesson will challenge us just to reflect on our leadership style, look around the environment that we have created wherever we are. Have we built a mentorship culture wherever we are? Are people able to identify their mentors intentionally and start investing in them? We just need to reflect around that and see what are the necessary adjustments that we need to engage in so that we can become better leaders. And indeed, we can make a difference wherever we are and make a contribution to the future by having leaders who will continue to run with a baton. Thank you so much for your kind attention. That brings us to the end of lesson 14. And I trust that we've been able to pick a few lessons here and there. Please remember to check the leadership challenge for the lesson 13 on issues of character. Please check the leadership challenge on page 97, the Global Leadership Manual, page 97. I just want you to take some time just to evaluate and rate your character ethics on a scale of 1 to 5 based on the parameters that are in that page. So we look at the character quality, issues of integrity, how do you rate yourself, issues of humility, issues of fidelity, temperance, courage, justice, patience. These are some of the character qualities that constitute a strong or a weak character. So check on that on page 97. That is a leadership challenge for lesson 13. And then lesson 14, leadership challenge is on page 106. Have you identified a mentor? If not, take time now to list and evaluate possible mentor. So this mentor is for you. Who is mentoring you? That is number one. Number two, have you identified your mentees or your mentee? If not, you need to take time and identify who are your mentees. And then number C, identify mentorship qualities. You need to strengthen to collaborate effectively with your mentor and your mentee. So please take time to look at that, and I hope that we'll be able to continue growing and developing ourselves so that we can offer better leadership each and every day. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will hand over to Reverend Kahindi just to check if there are any comment, and then he'll be able to conclude. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Chairman, for that long stretch. Mentorship is such an important thing. And leaders, as the conclusion said, we need to get our mentors and touch base with them. If you don't have a mentor, please look for somebody, and it's good you just have a sitting that he said should be purposeful. So let somebody know you are his mentee. You know, before that, we were looking at somebody and say, I'm admiring that person. That person is my mentor. And then now we begin coping secretly. No, if you do that, it won't be as effective. And then get some people to mentor, get some mentees, and do that for the betterment of your success, because a success is not success without a successor. On the chat, Anne had written, I think a good beginning to building good character is to watch your thoughts, so watch what you are listening to, watch or exposed to, or what you are watching or exposed to, for it dictates your thoughts. This was Anne before she went offline. I think people are having a problem with staying online. Anne left us, Pastor Steve was there and left us, and there was Rebecca. But there was a time we were 9 of us now. They left because of those challenges. Mil Kambenya says, success without a successor is for leadership. That is her take home. There's a like that. So those are take homes coming in, and it's very important. Mentorship is very important. And there are rewards to it. Let me just say this story. I work at Kayole, Shujaa Mall, and I discovered some time back when somebody visited me. He's a manager in one of those branches of KCB in Nairobi. And he said, I heard that you're working here, Mzee. So I came all the way to see you. And as we were chatting, I was happy. Somebody comes to look for you because at some point in life you mentored him and he's successful now. So I was with him, I think 2011, 2012. So he comes, and as we are chatting there, he says, by the way, do you know Isaac is around here? And he connects me to Isaac. Isaac is the branch manager of Consolidated Bank here at, it's called Caltex, at the junction of Outer Ring and Kangundo Road. There's a Consolidated Bank there. That young man came in, was an employee as a young man, and I was taking through ropes and teaching. Now they said, as they talked and said, now Mzee is here, you must buy him kuku. And you can see, kuku or no kuku, the fact that they can remember you brought them up from somewhere, and where they are proud because you built in their lives. You know, it makes me feel so joyous. So he has visited me. I've taken time to go and see his big office. He has a bigger office than me, and it makes me very happy. So mentorship has its own reward. And if I'm to leave the bank now, I know there are very many branches I can go and I'll be received as a dad, because along the way I mentored somebody. So please just take it up, and it has its rewards. Thank you very much. Now that there are no other comments, I don't know whether people shall comment physically. We are few, so I'll give everybody just some 30 seconds to give a comment before we wind up. So on my right is George. George, you are first to go. So give your comment, unmute and give your comment.
Oh, I do have some network issues. Sorry. I do have some network issues, but I thank God for this meeting once more. And I do realize that there is need for me to have a mentor, not just emulating what the mentor does, or maybe through a television or the model dressing. But there is also need to get in touch and to maybe to have a chat and share so that an impact can be created upon me. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, George.
Did you get? Yes.
Yes, we are getting you loud and clear. Thank you very much. Now, Paul Mucheke.
Oh, great.
We'll have Paul, then Evanson, and the lady comes after the gentleman.
Yes, Hindi, it's a good lesson on character. I realize Kuba, there's an issue of private victory. That's more voices to us, and which we shout more than the public speaking, the public victory. I love that, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your powerful take home. Evanson?
Yes, I have discovered that every one of us need to have a mentor, and every one of us need to have a mentee, because life is a matter of handing it over to the next generation. So for us to be successful, we must be able to mentor others so that they can succeed. Somebody said, if your successor fails or does not succeed, then you are a failure. And I want to agree with the statement here that says that success without successor is failed leadership.
Mhm.
That success must succeed because you have mentored that person well. I pray God to give us good mentors, that we can connect with them, that we can learn from them, that we can do better than them. As we succeed, they also succeed. The same case we also do with our mentees. Thank you so much and God bless.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And lastly, but not least, the lady in our midst, Milka.
Praise God.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm happy because of these learning lessons. Now I can say that I'm getting some good lessons. I was a mentor, but now I would like to go back to it because I used to do it and the person got lost. Now I will go and look for her. Another thing is that I learned that without a successor, I'm failing. So that is my take home.
Thank you very much, Milka. That's powerful. A mentor is a parent. So when your child disappears, go look for your child because she or he is supposed to be a reflection of you and become better than you because you are investing in him or her all that you know, and given his knowledge already, which has got somewhere else, it's just natural that he becomes better, and that makes you much more proud of it. Okay, as we close on today's lessons, I want to congratulate you for doing these two. That means now we are remaining with two. So we shall be in time for the graduation. You have your project proposals, which next week we shall delve much deeper. I hope you are doing something. I want to encourage you just across the week, touch base and do something great. Along with that, on issues evaluation, there will be an evaluation, a final evaluation when we finish the classroom. So that shouldn't take you much of a problem. But for those of you who have balances, fees balances, please let's just make good the payments so that in the next 3 or so weeks, as we conclude, we shall have cleared fees balances. So please pay up so that it can help us organize some of these things so that we finish strong. Thank you very much and may God bless you. Chairman, anything before we pray?
Yeah, I think as you have noted, probably next week, we might handle either one of the two topics. And that tells you we are at the tail end of this program. Last week, we've cohort 4, they finished and they presented their projects. Last week was project presentation day. And we were very impressed and very happy on the outcome. So we are looking forward to your presentations. So next week we'll have a session for you to present, and then we'll give our input. If we finalize the 2 lessons next week, then that means the other week we'll only have project presentation, and that will be the last session that we shall be holding. So let's finish strong. Let's stretch more. Because the potential is there, I'm sure we can finish like Boeing 787. When they are landing, they make a lot of noise and they announce, here I am, I have arrived. So as we finish, we want to be very loud so that we'll come out strong and make an impact wherever we are. So thank you so much, and God bless you. Yeah, maybe we can conclude with a word of grace together. We can unmute all of us. Kindly unmute. Yeah, so may the grace
of
Of
our
our
Lord
Lord
Jesus
Jesus Christ,
Our
Christ,
Lord Jesus
the love
Christ,
and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy
fellowship of the
Spirit
Spirit,
be with us
be
now
with us now.
the love
and
of God,
forevermore.
Holy Spirit, be with us now,
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Good night.
Good
forevermore.
night.
Good
Amen.
night. Bye.
Amen.
Good
Amen.
night,
Good
everyone.
night.
Good night.
Yeah, good night.